Hi everyone, welcome to lecture 9. This is in continuation to lecture 8. I'm talking about strings. In the previous lecture we talked about string manipulation. In this one I'll talk about some methods that work on string and also string formatting. So let's actually go to Spider and get started. Before talking about string methods, I wanted to talk about string concatenation and replication because these are some of the important functions that we associate with strings. So concatenation actually works with the plus operator, just like in arithmetic. We can use the plus operator with strings as well. For example, I have hello, which is my first string, and then add world to it, and then simply output that, and I get hello world. And obviously without the space, so you will have to explicitly go and add space here. And then you can get hello world the way you want it to be printed. I can assign these to variables just like we did in our previous lecture. So I have hello, and then let me create another variable that's t equals world. Let me create both of them, and then you can concatenate these variables as well, and you get the output just the way you got with the strings. And then obviously you can use print with s plus t. So this is called concatenation. One thing to remember is that you can also concatenate strings in this way, writing two strings on the same line, but you cannot do the same with variables. Variables will give error because the way Python reads variables is that one variable on a single line. So if I go and run this, this will error out. As you can see, this gives me an invalid syntax. So this is something to remember when you're doing concatenation. Okay. Another important method associated with strings is replication. If I have a string ha, I can repeat it as many times as I want by simply multiplying it with an integer. Again, this is important to remember that it should be multiplied by an integer for replication and not with a floating point. And the reason for that is that the floating point points to the idea that if I have 10.5, you'll have to go and split the string and somehow get rid of some part of the string that's not actually feasible, which is why replication does not work with floating points. So this is something important to remember. Now coming to methods. Methods are special functions that come with a certain object type. For example, I have an object type string, which is s. Let me create it. Good morning. And the moment I create this s, Python provides me with certain functionality, and that functionality comes in the form of methods. So I can work with this string and do a lot of manipulations with this string. So the moment you go and type the object and then hit a dot, in Spider you will see these drop downs of all the methods that are available to you. So we'll be talking about a few selected ones. So the first one that we use a lot is find. The way this works is go and find a particular character in a string. And because as you can see there are a number of O's in my string, Python is just going to find the first occurrence of this string, the position of that. So the position of O, the very first O is 0, 1. So that's what it found. I can explicitly go and tell Python to get started at position 3. So I'm explicitly telling it to go and start counting from the position D and then tell me what is the position of O. Let's see. That's 6 and it's pointing to this O. This is the first method that works on strings, and whenever you're working with built-in methods, so these are also called built-in methods because this is already in there for you when you install Python. Built-in. One thing to notice whenever you are using methods is to be aware of how many arguments a particular method takes. Let's move on to the second important method. This is called replace. What I want to do is go and tell Python, go and replace a particular character, for example, O with something else, so another character. And it does. So in case of replace, it replaces every occurrence of O with this new character. Similarly, we have other important methods. Lower will convert everything to lowercase. S dot upper will convert everything to uppercase. S dot capitalize converts the very first letter only to uppercase. So if let me recreate this string to everything lowercase and then capitalize it, only G will be capitalized. What if I want both the G and the M to be capitalized? In that case, I will just do S dot title. Title only capitalizes every word's first letter in my string. So the G and the M both are capitalized in title. One thing to remember whenever we are doing these methods is that it's not changing the input. So my original string stays the same. Count helps me count the number of characters in my string. So how many O's are there? As you can see, there are 3. And this is extremely, you have to be extremely careful when using this because this is case sensitive. So if I go in and create this string again and then say s.count O, it will give me 2 only because one of them is uppercase. So this is important to remember. And this kind of finishes some of the built-in methods that we'll be using with strings going forward. You might want to go back and explore more. In addition, I wanted to cover one more important method that's called print formatting that can be used with strings. Let's say I have a variable x that takes value 12 divided by 7, and then I have a variable y equals 13 divided by 8, and I want to print these in a certain way that's more efficient, and for that I have something called dot formatting method. So I can say the value of x is, and then just curly braces, and the value of y is, and then just curly braces, and end the string with a dot format. In my dot format, I'll have the name of the variables, for example, x and y. And the order that's followed here is the order in which x and y, so for example, x is at position 0, y is at position 1. And so this is the default position here. I can change the position of these variables here by simply saying, if I want to type y first, I can just say y1 and colon, and here I want x, which is at position 0, and then change the position. So let me first go and run this and see how this works. And there are certain other things that we can do. So as you can see on the right hand side, you get the value of y first and then the value of x. The default is, if you have nothing here, the default is 0 and 1. So that would be x and y. Let me change this back to what we had. Right, so that's the default. It follows the order in which the variables appear in the dot format. Okay, so as you can see, the value of x has all these significant digits that I do not want in my output. One way of handling that in the dot format method is to just say colon and then dot 2f. So I want up to 2 significant digits only. So that's what this signifies. Colon dot 2f. You can have 3f, 4f, and so on, but I just want up to 2. So let me print this again. As you can see on your right hand side, we get up to 2 significant figures. This is how we use dot format, and as I said before, the default is this is 0 and this is 1. What 0 and 1 mean here is that this is the position of my first variable, depending on the way I have. I am representing them in my dot format parentheses. So this is a way, and this is a method of using a print in a better way. This finishes our lecture on strings. See you in the next lecture when I'll talk about functions and modules. Thank you.